Hey there, Shango Los from Shaping Fire here today, and today we're going to do a little bit of something different. I've got a couple of my friends with me. This is Dan from Mandalorian Genetics and Sebring from Sebring Seeds. And the reason why I asked them to join me today was because, back in the medical days, growers would breed seeds and give them away to patients because seeds were really hard to get a hold of. And nowadays, as medical becomes more of this green rush thing, people are moving into doing seeds primarily for profit. And that's a whole new and different world. And as we see, as a state goes from medical to recreational, a lot of the patient products go away too. And so this continuing legalization, which theoretically should be great for patients, actually continually impacts patients in a negative way. So as I travel the country checking out these new markets, I meet more and more people who used to make seeds for patients, and then they decided they wanted to get involved with legalization, which is totally legit, but a lot of those folks don't make seeds for patients anymore. And I think that something is really lost when patients have a harder time getting good quality seeds for free. And so then I met Dan and Sebring. And I met these guys because we're all interested in Autoflowers. And they have both given me hundreds of packs of seeds to give to patients here on Vashon Island and at the various places that I give my Autoflower talks. And from talking with both of them, and I'm going to say some things that'll make them feel awkward, but I'm going to say it in front of them. What these guys are doing, breeding specifically for patients and then giving the seeds away, is something that I think is lost. And I'm hoping that with this video, maybe we can inspire some people to start giving away some of their seeds. There's no problem with selling some of the seeds, right? We all have to pay our bills. But I want to encourage people to breed potentially with patients in mind, and then to give some of the seeds away. Because that's what these guys have done, and for me, it reminds me of the medical days when people were really in it for the patients, instead of what we're seeing now where people are more and more turning cannabis into a commodity. So, Dan and Sebring, thank you for joining me. And so we're just going to ask a couple questions to get you set up with the mindset of giving away seeds, and maybe it'll inspire some people to start breeding or making seeds for the first time. So Dan, let's start with you, man. So I know you got into breeding because of patients. It wasn't that you were breeding first and then you moved over to patient-focused stuff, but that was your whole point. So what brought you to breeding for patients?
Breeding for patients came from me because of a medical need of a family member. I mean, basically, stage 4 cancer, short end of it, and she needs some pain relief, and we needed a quick turnaround. And autos were the key, and then I started seeing the benefits from the quicker turnaround to continue that down the road, and then basically share out beyond my circle of friends and family needs. I've had the fortunate benefit of meeting you and making sure that those seeds get beyond that circle that when I initially started from.
Right on, cool. And they certainly have. I felt a little bit like Johnny Appleseed giving them away too. So Sebring, I know that you as well got into it specifically for the patients. And what were your motivations?
So I had a couple motivations. One was being able to do seed preservation because I, like you, started to see that fall off. A lot of the really good strains that you used to be able to get your hands on, these days you can't. Or if you can, you have to pay a fortune to be able to get a hold of them, and even then they're not necessarily what you think they are. On top of that, I had family members that were in need of medicine as well, one with epilepsy, another one with arthritis, so I needed a variety of different answers, and I needed ones that would be growable and self-sustainable by those family members so I could show them how to do everything, and high CBD Autoflowers answered that for me in both cases, in varying amounts with different THC levels, but both of them acted as a way that I could hand seeds to a family member and show them, hey, you can grow a tomato? Great, you can grow this. Here's a set harvest date. This is all you've got to do. This is your making medicine process. Come back to me if you need more seeds or if it's not quite right, and I'll work with you on the genetics to, work it in the direction it needs to go in. And then that just expanded out to wanting to help other people. Like you, I saw that more and more seeds were going commercial. or seed breeders were leaving breeding and were just going into commercial cannabis. And so as I saw that void happening, people like me and you started trying to fill that. And so, yeah, just like you, I want to see more people donating more seeds to people around them, patients that they meet, sending them to us, and we'll help distribute them to the patients that contact us. Like, that part of the community is being lost, and it's essential for part of keeping our community as a whole. The stronger we make each other, the stronger we make ourselves.
The community, yeah. And so let's talk a little bit about the distribution. Now don't get me wrong, right? Like seeds are fun to share even if you only have one pack, right? So we're going to be talking about like some numbers of packs here, but don't think, oh, I can't distribute that many seeds, or I can't grow, produce that many seeds, and think that this might not be for you. Because just giving away a few packs is great. Last year I only made, a couple dozen packs, but they felt really good to give away. So Dan, what did you do to figure out how to give away your packs to people? Because I know some people, they feel a little awkward to be like even if I have seeds, I don't know where to give them.
Well, organizations like with here on the island, there's an outreach to patients there, and I was fortunately connected with you, and we had an outlet there. And then I've also made some cold calls. Take a look for like veteran organizations or other medical collectives, or just it's a quick search and you can find the people that actually need them, and then just reach out to them, make a phone call. It's been very well received every time I've made a call, especially since it's free. I cover the shipping on it to make sure that these people can have what they need in their hands at a price that it's free. The chance to grow your own medications at home and take care of whatever ailment you may need, and like you said, having the ability to take extra seeds and just hand to somebody and say, here, enjoy. Spreading that forward is just it's a great feeling. It's a good way to strengthen the community like we've been talking about.
Right on. And Sebring, I know that you've turned this into kind of a manufacturing operation. Like, you were sending out seeds like all over the place.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So through SebringSeeds.com, I ship out any seeds that get sent in to me. I go through, I sort them. I only take the quality seeds, and that's what gets shipped out. Stuff that's dark color, plump, not underdones. All the underdones get set aside, and I've got a purpose for those. But those good ones all get sorted out. They get individually packed in packs of 15 to 30 seeds. And then as long as people are willing to pay shipping, we ship them all over the world. Most of them qualify as hemp. We only send seeds. We don't send anything else. But we absolutely do. Anybody who comes on the website and says they want to order a pack, we take care of it. And then not all the time, but as I can afford it, when people contact me and they don't have the money even for shipping, we take care of that as well. It helps if we only have a limited number of those that are legitimate. So I've had a pretty easy time of it so far. It could definitely get to a point where I'd have to more or less put a hard number on it, like this is how many free shippings we're going to give out. But right now, it seems like everybody that's been contacting me has been honest and had integrity, and really said what's going on with them. Like, I don't get the, hey, send me free seeds. I get the, I'm a son trying to help my grandmother. She doesn't know how to grow. I need to grow medicine for her. I'm unemployed right now. Can you help me out? And my answer is always yes, absolutely, because I've been that guy. That's where I came from. That's my root, is being that person and living in that community. And so to me, they're doing what I'm doing, which is trying to take care of people that are in their community that they love, that shouldn't be in pain.
Right. So like this, actually, I didn't even actually realize this was going to happen. This is kind of like a spectrum, right? Like, I only produce a couple dozen packs every year, and I grow some of those the following year, and then I give them away. And Dan's producing like hundreds of packs, and he bundles them up and then sends them to organizations. And Sebring's got people reaching out to him from all over the world, and if they pay shipping and handling, he sends them seeds. So, you can do a little, or you can do a ridiculous amount, like, or somewhere in the middle, right?
Right.
And so you can do as much and in the way that fits for your life. So the way that I met these guys was because we're all into autoflowering cannabis varieties right now, because all three of us have realized that they're really good for patients. And so Dan, why did you choose to start breeding autoflowers specifically for the patients that you help?
To touch back on what I said earlier, is quick turnaround time. And the terp profiles and the cannabinoids that we needed were right there and readily available at that quick pace. And it made sense too, because at the time I had access to both, regular sexed seeds. I could get males and females with no problem. I mean, not that there's an issue with feminized. There's a lot of them available today, but it was at a time where I was able to actually begin that selection process and kind of cater it towards what I needed.
Right on. How about you, Sebring?
So I started doing autos because family members needed something that they could grow like a tomato. They needed, just like Jeff Lowenthal said, they needed something they could put in the ground, indoor or outdoor, do nothing but water it for 80 to 90 days, harvest it, hang it, dry it, medicine, just that fast. There's no learning curve, no nothing. The barrier to entry is incredibly low. And seeing how well my mother succeeded on doing that, and how she went from constantly being frustrated with me talking about photoperiods, which can be a real pain at times, especially for new growers, to, oh my God, I can do this. I can actually do this. I love you and I need you, but not for this.
Yeah, right.
Which to me was a huge weight off my shoulders to know not only that I could give her self-sustainable seeds, and that she could make her own medicine, and then that didn't have to be one more thing I had to do, freeing up my time, preferably to spend quality time with her instead of just staring
tending
at
her
the
garden.
plant.
Yeah,
Exactly. But then I realized, she's older, she's retiree. If she is struggling with this, most retirees are struggling with this. So the reality is, what I had in my hand was something I needed to distribute to the masses, because there really is a whole community out there that needs it. And from what I've seen, they're more or less being ignored. There's not a lot of seed breeders that are breeding for retiring baby boomers, even though they're like one of the largest sections of the community that need this kind of medicine. When they're past the drug war stuff and the propaganda, they understand that it helps them and they want it. They just need people to come to their level. Like drop down to their level and speak on their level and their terms, and give them a plant that they can succeed with. So set them up for success.
Right on.
And that's what we've been trying to do.
Right on, cool. And of course, it's cool to breed for cannabis cups too, right? We're not saying that you have to do one or the other. What we're saying is that as legalization and the green rush takes over, less and less people are really paying attention and listening to the patients and what they need. People are offering patient products and patient seeds, but a lot of the time they're not actually what patients need. It's just that people want to fill a patient market. Also, one of the reasons that I got turned on to Autoflowers for patients is because they're so covert, right? The plants usually top out around 3 feet. I grew some 6-footers this year, but really 3 foot is kind of on average. And you can literally tuck those between your tomato plants, and your neighbors won't even necessarily ever see them. So that's pretty good. And you brought up Jeff Lowenfels. We should go ahead and plug his book, right?
Yeah.
He's got a new book on Autoflowers for the absolute beginner that comes out next month, October 22nd, 2019. And it's all do-it-yourself Autoflowers. And it's not really for pros. It's for people new, like your aunt or your mom or your grandma or somebody who like Sebring Seed said, is kind of over the taboo, and they need the medicine, and they want to garden it for themselves. And so with Jeff Lowenfeld's book, you can, put that in their hands, and it gives them the history of autoflower seeds, some basic growing technique, where to get autoflowers, and a bit of encouragement that you can do it, right? It's a very simple book for beginners, and it's very effective. So that's cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's got awesome photos.
Yeah, it's got good photos in it too. If there are people out there who are like, oh man, I would really like to produce seeds for patients, what advice would you give them? What one piece of advice would you give them about getting started, Dan?
I would say get some access to some regular seeds. If you get access to regular seeds, don't be afraid to the mail. Make sure that you can kind of isolate the two, especially if you have a larger crop, and collect that pollen and bring it over to the female, and that's where you can begin. I mean, we could go into great detail on that and the process and how to, but there's several online resources for that. So don't be afraid of that mail. They they're not as scary as they are.
Yeah, males have got terrible reputations, right? Because they'll seed your crop, and nobody wants that. Unless you're producing seeds, right?
Correct.
And so, it takes a little while to get over the fact that the male can be seen as a threat in the garden and actually see it as a partner in making seeds. So, Sebring, what one piece of advice would you give somebody?
First, I'd like to segue back to if you do make seeds accidentally and they're not a hermaphroditic cross, I'll help you get rid of them.
Yeah.
We'll get them right to the patients that need them. For new breeders, people that want to get into breeding, I would say that they, first of all, don't be scared to just get in there. The first thing you've got to do is get over that stumbling block of just, not being afraid. Get in there and just do it. My first crosses were total accidents. We literally we had 3 plants and we took one, and it was a male, and crossed it to 2 others and grew those out to see what was there. But that's really what you've got to do. You've got to understand the genetics that are stored, stashed away in each of the parents that you're working with. You need to understand the parents too. You need to be able to identify what came from each parent to help figure out at the genetic level, what's going on with them, what was dominant, what was recessive, and from there you can kind of start to work in the direction you want to go. My biggest thing I would suggest to people that want to start breeding, first and foremost, is honestly pick up a book on Mandalorian genetics, and even if it's confusing, just work your way through it. Even today, I'm still running crosses where I'm working through charts to figure out, okay, what's this, what's that. I know the ratios of what I should get out of a cross based on whether it's dominant or recessive, and it's a lot more complicated these days with advanced genetics, but a lot of the principles still apply. So if you can understand the simplest Mandalorian genetics, you'll begin to understand in the crosses that you make what it is you're seeing, and that's the key, really.
Right on. That said, don't let that level of complexity stop you, right?
Get in there and do it.
You can just be a pollen chucker, right? Which is what I am. I have not read a breeding book, and yet I've been growing my own seeds year over year, and I get great plants, right? All you need to do is have a female that you like and a male that you like, and put them near each other, and you will get seeds. And very often, even accidental seeds that get made and you didn't even plan can be great. So certainly it's one of these fun hobbies that you can start at a novice pollen chucking level and then go all the way to reading books and charting out dominant and recessive traits. But don't let that be your stopper, because a lot of people don't have time to read a science book and take notes. Don't let that stop you. Just frickin' do it and give the seeds away, because putting the seeds in patients' hands is the goal of this. So, guys, if people want to follow you on Instagram and continue to pick up some of this inspiration, how do they watch you?
Well, they can find me at fullduplex_AFN or at the genetic page at Mandalorian Genetics on Instagram.
Great. How about you, Sebring?
You can find me under Sebring Seeds at Instagram, at YouTube, where I've got some videos on how to make silver thiosulfate, as well as some growing tips. The SebringSeeds.com website, through Facebook, pretty much everywhere. Just look for Sebring Seeds, and if you find a link that sends you to somebody with that name, it's probably me.
Right on. So last thing is, those links are in the description below if you didn't catch it. But the point of this video is just to get you thinking about making extra seeds and giving them away to people. It is a lot of fun to make extra seeds, put them in a little package, and give them away to friends. You build your cannabis community. You create the opportunity for giving somebody a few packs, and then they go on and give them to a few people. And most importantly, good genetics get into the hands of patients so that they can be empowered to grow their own medicine. And it doesn't matter if it's Autoflowers either. We love reg plants too, right? Whatever you have access to, start reproducing the seeds and giving them away. One last thing. So I probably made these guys a little awkward by kind of using them for an example of dudes who, or let's just say people who produce seeds and give them away to patients, right? These guys are just examples of that, right? There are people like this in your community, and talk to them and maybe get together and maybe also trade with them. And they didn't ask me to do this. I actually bugged them to do this video and asked to put them on a little bit of a pedestal so that through their stories and me saying, hey, these guys have given away hundreds of packs to patients because they value that. Well, everybody wins, right? So also do not jump on them and be demanding packs of seeds. If you've got an organization, perhaps reach out to Mandalorian Genetics. If you are individuals or organizations and you're willing to pay shipping and handling, maybe reach out to Sebring. But remember, man, these guys have got day jobs and they don't have a ton of time for customer service. So they try to get back to everybody. Just be considerate, be kind, and if you decide to reach out for them. But instead of, focusing on getting their seeds for free, I encourage you to go ahead and make your own. So especially since it's fall time now, and if you accidentally had a sneaker bale in your garden, just gather those seeds and put them in 10 packs and give them away. It'll be great. So guys, thank you so much for talking with me, and hopefully we will cause some more people to grow and give away seeds. So thanks a lot.
Thank you, Shango.
Awesome, brother.
Thank you.
Great being here.
Right on.